This is the Dadvocacy podcast. I'm Ryan.
I am Tristan.
Welcome to episode 16 in Season 2.
Season 2, episode 16. Welcome back and thanks for joining us.
And happy belated Easter.
Easter happened.
It did.
Dude, how many freaking, you know what I'm saying, how many eggs were on that lawn?
So those are 2 soccer fields.
Yeah.
With a 20-yard space between the 2.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're looking at what it's got to be somewhere in the neighborhood of...
I would assume thousands.
270 yards worth of grass.
Yeah, and there was on the video you showed me, there was...
I would say 250. Yeah, 250 yards of grass.
There wasn't even some of those, there wasn't even a foot between some of those. And It was everywhere.
And there was 2 egg hunts that way that day.
Oh my gosh.
So in the tens of thousands would be my guess.
There was so much.
It was like 30 barrels of candy.
Okay, so then how fast was that cleaned out?
So my field was probably empty in about a minute and a half. It was insanity. I love it because I did like a slow-mo where they all took off, and they run out to the center of the field, and you get some kids that see all the eggs and they see the kids glow sticks and candy. So it's kind of this mix. It was darting across the middle, and they go and kids are had all their different styles of gathering Easter eggs, and one kid belly flopped onto the ground and was just gathering them like a reverse snow angel.
Okay.
And then bringing him into his chest, and then really hastily putting him in his bucket, and then started stuffing him in his sweatshirt. And
did I feel like somebody should have had 2 kids, right? One kid laying on top of a wheelbarrow, other kid with the end of the handles, running him around, and he's just grabbing. That's how it should happen.
Yeah.
And then you dump inside the actual wheelbarrow, so you don't even think about it.
you get the random dads that would walk around. They're like, "Oh yeah, you're doing great," and they'd be like, "Piece of candy, piece of candy."
That'd be me.
Ooh, piece of candy.
That'd be totally. If it was the banana Laffy Taffy,
There was some out there.
that's my game.
I may have found a few packs of Skittles.
Okay. That's nothing wrong with
But
it at
there's
all.
the thing. I made one mistake, and I was like, "Oh, Skittles, sweet." Put one in my mouth. It's 33 degrees outside.
So it's a rock.
Yeah, I was like, "Don't want these anymore."
It's an absolute rock. Oh my gosh.
Bit into a $100,000 bar, and it was solid.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, "Oh."
Those are you're I need to defrost them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sit them in the pot. That's what is it? Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where the principal gets on the bus. The girl's like, "Would you like a gummy worm?" They're warm. They've been in my pocket.
It's awesome. Just don't put it in your prison wallet. You'll be okay. Gross. That's where all the candy belongs.
Yuck.
So they released The Batman on HBO Max.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And I'm not the biggest Robert Pattinson fan.
Okay.
I've been wholeheartedly against him the entire time. I'll be real.
He kind of seems like a wuss to me.
Yeah, like a lot of a wuss. And I feel like if he would hit me, I would not go down.
He's like a softie.
Yeah. So I'm going to say I loved the movie. I loved it. I didn't love Robert Pattinson because he had that emo hair the entire time.
He looks like the lead singer from Green Day.
And I don't feel like Batman Bruce Wayne should be emo Bruce Wayne. That's how I feel, He didn't look like he actually trained.
What is it, Billy Corgan or whatever? That's the lead singer.
Yeah, he's not. But it didn't look like he trained. So when he was his body type didn't look right. Now, did he make a good Batman? I would say a lot better than Ben Affleck.
Okay, that's not hard.
I know, and but his Bruce Wayne was not. It was not good. He was too mopey, too whatever.
Val Kilmer is, in my opinion, I thought he was good. Some people don't really care for Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer is very classy, but he's never going to be greater than The Saint, which was phenomenal.
Gattaca and The Saint were 2 great movies.
Phenomenal, right?
Or Iceman.
And so yeah. But
Top Gun.
Val Kilmer wasn't my favorite. Honestly, I have to go with the original. I loved Christian Bale also because Bale plays good, bad, and he plays a good, classy gentleman also.
Well, Bale is also he's got that mean streak to him.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, dude, totally.
And so I can see oh yeah, there's Batman. He's
yep,
whooping tail. All right.
And Michael Keaton has 14 personalities.
Uh-huh.
And so when I saw him originally, I was like, oh, dude, I'm all over that.
See, I think Heath Ledger did a great Joker, obviously, but he could have been a pretty solid Batman if you'd cast him in that role. I don't know. Call me crazy, but
Yeah. No, I agree.
you know who else could be a good Batman?
Hmm.
He's kind of short. No, forget it. He wouldn't be that great of a Batman. I don't know what to say because I'll get laughed at. I was going to say, like, back in the day, though, Tom Cruise could have been Batman. He's just really small, the guy, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, I could potentially see it back in the day for sure. Right now, though, like, it's a tough one. So, hey, I heard that, was it Tyrese Gibson is potentially going to take on the part of Blade in the remake of Blade.
That's not a bad casting.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I was like, oh, yeah, I mean, Wesley Snipes will never not be.
Him or Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, dude, I could see Michael B. Jordan being a bad mofo. And I'd be, yeah, he's a solid guy, too. I don't know if he plays that kind of like, you know, that vampiric, I don't know. Oh, gosh, I think
Snipes
he'd be great.
was such a BA, though. I'm like,
totally, dude.
Wesley Snipes is one of my, like, I think about, like, there's not a movie that I didn't, like, think he was, like, solid in.
Yeah. I mean, seriously.
Poorly, like, was a Method Man, was a pretty poorly written movie, but he was still solid in the role.
Well, there's just so much. It's Snipes. I mean, and it's weird to say, but like he's just good. He's good.
Even in Major League, that's one.
Dude, he was so freaking.
Willie Mays Hayes
was phenomenal in that. Major League.
That movie's so underrated.
Dude, totally, I agree.
It's one of those movies. Whenever it's on TV, you'll stop.
Yeah.
I don't know. At least for me, I will.
Dude, 1 and 2.
Tom Berenger. I mean, dude, that cast was so good.
Wild Thing. And if you're not singing along with it, crowds chanting it, you're not watching the movie properly, I don't think.
Tom Berenger, though, like his role where he's like always trying to backhand, like get at his ex-girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I feel you. No, I totally feel you. That's so funny.
And then Bob Uecker is the announcer. That one, yeah, he's the best. the best.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, there's like some castings out there that like Pattinson and Batman role makes me kind of scratch my head a little bit.
You got. I mean, I'm going to say for everybody out there, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. Be open-minded because they did really, really well with it. But just I don't appreciate that version of Bruce. Beyond that, it was solid. I was like, wow, I didn't want to enjoy this, but I really was enjoying it. Yeah.
I watched it was Easter weekend. I watched the Chosen series.
Okay, yep.
Have you seen it yet?
Yeah.
Dude, it's legit.
Mm-hmm.
It's really stinking good.
Surprisingly.
The casting is excellent. The
Yeah.
writing's great. I mean, as far as if you want to go to biblical history and everything matches up really well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not campy like you would expect from most Christian, like faith-based shows. It's pretty flipping good.
There's a lot of like religious movies that just don't pull stories together very well at all. And then there's a handful of them, and I would say like 6 or 7 that own it and really do it well. And you're like, wow, that was really well done.
Like if they remade the 10 Commandments, like the original one that had
with Charlton Heston?
No. Which is it's a classic. Don't get me wrong. But like if you think about that movie, like with that acting quality, but if they had like today's CGI, that movie could be so epic.
Really, it'd be really good actually. You're right.
That movie could be so epic.
I agree.
But I mean, yeah. So man, look at it. It's like, but yeah, the Chosen series was excellent. If you haven't seen it yet, I don't care if you read the Bible or not. Like it's good TV. Like it really is.
Yeah, I agree.
And it makes you ask some questions, and you look at some of the background characters. And the one that really piqued my interest was Thomas, because he doesn't get mentioned a lot in the Bible as being one of the disciples. He's only mentioned, I think it's like 4 or 5 times.
I mean, Paul was the guy that wrote the majority of the Bible anyway.
Yeah, the majority of the back end of the New Testament. Yeah, from Acts on. And, but you look at Thomas, and it was like, he was present at the wedding ceremony when Jesus turned water into wine. And I was like, I didn't know that. And like I go back and like I'm trying to like find manuscript like history type stuff, and he was. I'm like, they're not just trying to tie characters together. It was like there's always like these lead-ins and stuff, and it was I'm like,
well, I mean that's how they proved it was real. So the weird part is like you got Jesus and his crew, right? And there's always a silent guy in the crew that nobody talks about, but he's always there. That's Thomas.
Yeah,
he's there, but he didn't have a lot to say, so it's all right. Thomas was there though.
Yeah, and then the funny part is too, like I like in the show too, like the conflict internally of Nicodemus. Mm-hmm. Like that really, like you can see like the internal struggle that he has of like the worldly part, and then he like talks to Jesus, and you can tell he wants to, but there's like the willingness, but he can't get over the grounded like to self and like in this world. And
dude, I think that's a struggle for anybody.
Absolutely, and that's why I look at it, because I'm like, how many times are we that way as people? Like, maybe that's the reason people don't want to go to church, is because they think they have to give too much up of themselves, or it's a risk. Like, you do have to, like, you think you're going to be made fun of or scorned or whatever.
Well, I think part of that also is that people don't think there's a lot of, how do I put this, fake is a good way to put it. Yeah. Not every church, but fake is there. And people see people go to church and act holier than thou and all that, and then they go to Sunday brunch and they're being schmucks and jerks to the waitresses. And you're like,
there's a significant amount of memes about that on like Instagram and stuff too that I see, but there's some truth to it. I mean, it's not everybody. I know like a lot of people.
No, there's a lot of good people.
But there is like the entire. It's like almost like it's because you're Christian, you're entitled to treat people like crap.
And some people feel that way, and you're like, I just got to church. And I'm like, dude, I remember being in the call center selling insurance, and some of the worst people were the Sunday crowd. And I'm there, and they'd go off on you and be like, wow, and talk about how Christian they are. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, no, you're not. I think you need to double check yourself a little bit, pump your brakes.
Yeah. How would Jesus be talking to me right now?
I'm just like, good Lord. But it's true. And so I think that's really part of what turns people off from church, is that religion isn't faith. And that's what people don't get. They see the religion, and they see the practices, and they see the religious undertones of everything.
Oh yeah, it's the order
and they miss the faith.
Yeah,
and the faith is what matters.
The faith is the basis. It's the part of the relationship, right? And then so much of religion gets rooted in pride, and pride kills relationships.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so if you're going to base everything off of pride, you're going to hurt a lot and step on a lot of people along the way, because you're trying to keep your pride. I mean, and so go back to the conversation about Nicodemus. There's an immense amount of pride there. And I think that's why so many people could probably like resonate with that. But yeah, to go to the Easter crowd, I mean, I didn't even go out on Easter or anything, obviously. And like, I've done it in the past, and I just look at it, and it's like and there's also the people that are the Super Bowl Christians that go like the big 3 holidays, it's like, oh, I'll go Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or Christmas Eve, Easter and Good Friday, and call her good.
Well, a lot of Catholics that way also.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I'll throw those in there too. But like, and then they go out after church, and they're not the ones that are necessarily the everyday rooted believers, that it's like, oh, we came from church and now we're at the dinner, and then like I'm throwing back, bottomless mimosas and treating my waitress
cray up in here,
and treating my waitress like crap and not tipping well. And it's like, so there's people of all kinds. Let's put it that way.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, and it does make sense. Speaking of people,
okay,
there's a lot going on in the news lately.
Johnny Depp.
And I'm not going to say, I don't know if I like Johnny Depp. Like, I like some of his movies. Yes, of course. I appreciate, Pirates. Absolutely. Right. But I think he's kind of a weirdo, but that doesn't mean.
Blow was good.
Yeah. I mean, that
was a great movie.
I mean, he's a great actor if you want somebody like that. Right. And he really is. I don't know his character at home. I don't know whatever. I've seen him do interviews, and you're like, man, you're a weird dude, and so that's always interesting, but no one deserves to go through that.
No,
like not at all. And here's the worst part about the whole thing, is that finally there's a light on things that men deal with that no one talks about.
Yeah.
The abuse. And it's proven women are more often the abuser than men. It's absolutely 100% proven. You just got to look it up. It's really simple to find. But like, everybody said, oh, he did it. And he was like, I'm not going to slander. I'm not going to say anything about her. No. And then she went out and wrote this book, or did her op-ed, right, for Washington Post. And now he got removed from all these platforms and all this stuff. And you're like, dude, and now he's finally coming out, and you're like, you're finding out all the crazy crap she did. She pooped on his bed.
Well, there's
their bed.
Yeah, but like, she was hitting him. Like, she struck him in the face multiple times.
Cut his finger off.
Yeah, like there's a ton of stuff, and then he didn't retaliate.
No. And he's like, he's actually talking to her like a human, and she's like, yeah, you're better than me. And I'm like, whoa, there is a level of crazy that boggles my mind.
And it's like, she dared him to do something about it, because she knew that he wouldn't.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that makes me think back to like the Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith thing too. And, so we're starting to see it in the popular world.
Yep.
How much of this is actually going on every day on your block?
Oh, dude, constantly. I mean, there are, I would say every man's been hit at one point in time in his life in a relationship.
And if you haven't been physically hit, you've been hit
mentally,
emotionally.
Yeah, emotionally, you've been watered down. But I mean, it's crazy. So like, I think about all this stuff and I go, okay, well, what if the roles were reversed? Johnny Depp would be in prison.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have access to his kids, all this.
Canceled completely.
She's literally out there getting more screen time and more talking about it and acting like, oh, it's all whatever. And I'm like,
it raises the question for me is that there was the huge movement of the hashtag Me Too thing.
Yeah.
And where are those people standing for the men that go through that too?
Hashtag Me Too.
Where are those people?
And nobody did.
If you're going to stand up in an injustice, stand up for all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just ignore it because I'm for injustice for women. I want women's equality. That's all I want. It's like, well, I know that we're the Dadvocacy podcast, but like, I mean, come on, like we'll call out the bad characters all the time too,
all day long.
But at the same time, like if you're gonna call out one thing, stand for it all.
Yeah, and you absolutely have to stand for it all.
Yeah,
it's not just a one-way street. And we're finding out that some of your favorite actors, Johnny Depp, how many women love Johnny Depp? Legitimately, I mean, they're just, really. And now we're finding out all this crazy crap happened to him because he's just genuinely, from what it seems like, a nice guy that's not insane.
Yeah, I mean, they said that he was incredibly respectful. He was always like quiet and mild-mannered. Like, there's all of these things, and it's like, I don't want to get in between. I'm not behind anybody's walls, right? In their house and watching all this stuff. But like, when you hear stuff like this that comes out in the court of law from people that don't have like an axe to grind, and you're seeing this type of stuff, like, it makes me as a man and as somebody that's been through some similar stuff, stop and go like, we've been talking about this for a long time, and now you're finally taking notice. Like, and you know what? Good. At least it's getting out there.
The weird part is that, like, so they're airing out Johnny Depp and Amber's dirty laundry everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's being publicized and whatever. And so the conspiracy guy in me goes, well, what are they hiding right now? Okay, whatever. But the back end, I go, the Maxine Ghislaine
Maxwell. Yeah.
They didn't show any of that at all. None of it.
You haven't heard from her and hiding her hair now.
Yeah.
You don't even know if she's still in jail.
It kind of, I want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
My kids are the most important thing to me. I want to know. It just,
It's all a giant Russian nesting doll. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. But I do need to apologize. I want to apologize to everybody out there. I talked about the pissing lady that peed herself when she squatted. And I, as a trainer, didn't think it through. She could have pelvic floor issues where you pee after, you just can't control it. And that's definitely possible. Now, if that is the case, I would still kick her out of my gym. Or I would say, you're not allowed to do these things until you start working on your pelvic floor, because it can be controlled and it can be built. You don't have to pee when you sneeze. There are ways to do that. You just Google it.
There are some that have had children that are like, I beg your pardon, but...
and there's probably people to argue, but like I said, as a trainer, I'm going to say, no, there's a million ways to fix that. And there are a million places out there. Oh, ASMR Tristan getting some Altoids. What? Sorry, I love these. I'm addicted. But really, you should, if that's an issue, you need to not worry about working out at this point and focus on fixing yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. It bothers me. What bothers you,
but
Ryan?
I think like too, you can go to the gym. Okay, here's something about the gym that bugs me.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes crop dusting.
Girls crop dusting.
I know, but like, I more notice it more from the men. And it's like dirty, nasty, like
the whey protein crop dusting.
The whey protein with pre-workout crop dusting.
Oh my gosh.
And then the heavy egg and white chicken, like chicken white meat diet.
It's so gross.
Oh, dude.
It's so gross. You know what's weird? I actually don't smell when I don't eat carbs. Like if I lay off carbs and I go heavy on proteins, I don't smell.
The only thing that's funny is like, I will because I like to eat elk meat, right?
Oh yeah.
And if you're not used to eating it or you haven't had it in a while, you will get gassy the first couple times you eat it because it is such a rich protein. Like it is very rich.
It's
like
so
there's not obviously there's a ton of minerals in it. That's what I mean by rich, not fat. There's no fat in it hardly at all.
No, that is very lean meat.
And very, very lean meat tends to cause gas, right? Like, I mean, to happen.
It can do that.
Tuna fish.
I don't know. I mean, but for me though, like I said, meat.
But it doesn't stink, right? Like, I mean, if I get gassy from eating elk meat, it doesn't stink. It's just like,
that happened, yeah. And it doesn't stink. And that's the weird part. Like, why doesn't it stink?
Or like, it's like eating broccoli.
Oh, broccoli though. Oh my gosh. That'll get you. That'll get you for sure.
Or like asparagus, asparagus makes your pee stink, that type of thing.
Yeah, it'll do that for sure, yeah.
So like, there's things out there. So like, what am I annoyed by? Okay, here's the one thing. This is a very specific situation, but
let me settle in here.
The type of individual that bothers me is when you put something for sale, on Facebook Marketplace,
okay,
especially a vehicle. The people of, is it still available? And then ghost you. Yeah. Never hear from again. That's one annoying thing.
All right.
Then the next one is you get the extremely pushy guy that works at a car lot that doesn't want you to know that he works at a car lot. Yep. But you already know just based on how he's talking to you, and then proceeds to beat you up when you don't want to take his ridiculously low offer.
And you're like, no.
I laughed at him.
That's all right. That's
he's like, I'll give you. He's like, I'll give you $11,000 for your car. And I was like, I bet you would, but no.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm like, in this market, one, clean title, two, like, find one for under XYZ dollars. Mm-hmm. Oh, I used to be able to buy those for $8. I'm like,
you used to, not anymore.
But I'd be like, I don't know where you would, and two, I don't know who would unless you're buying it wrecked at an insurance auction. I was like, so. No, and have a nice day and leave me. And the guy comes back and starts typing, and then you're just being ridiculous and being selfish and trying to take advantage. And I'm like, no, I'm selling my vehicle, and the fact that you can't buy it is not my fault. Bye. Like, leave me alone.
Dude, people get crazy. Like they feel like they're entitled to whatever at whatever price they want.
All right. So the housing market. Do I think that there's an inflation in the housing market?
Yes.
Yes. Do I think there's an inflation in the rent market? Yes.
Absolutely. Yep.
If you can't afford to buy a house in this market, though, it is not the seller's fault. You can't afford to buy it. You are not entitled to a lower price because you think you are.
I agree. That's the market.
It's driving me freaking crazy.
Even if it's wrong. I mean, I saw a $600,000 manufactured home the other day.
I know. So it was
probably. It was freaking ridiculous. And I'm like, no. But if someone's going to buy it, more power to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously.
Right? I mean, if somebody's willing to pay that money, good.
Do it. That's capitalism, brother. Like,
but if they're not going to pay it, then you're sitting there screwed. And that's just how it is.
Don't buy it.
Yeah. It's so easy. It's so
easy.
Easy.
And so, like, I see, like, all of these posts of just, like, scathing, ripping people selling their houses that, like, I saved my money for 3 years for my first starter home, expecting to pay $350,000, and now I can't even rent. And I'm like, move. What's holding you here?
Well, and that's not on the sellers either. I mean, the issue is that people are buying it at that. Well, BlackRock was buying it at that. Let's talk about that.
And then here's the other part of this, right? Interest rates. Look at interest rates. We had interest rates for a better part of 2 years. They were under 3%.
Which is crazy.
You know what that gives you buying power-wise? So say you're getting a home for $295,000 at 4.8%, which is what it was in like 2018. Mm-hmm. 4.8%. I mean, that is the equivalent of buying a house at close to $500,000 at 2.2%.
Yeah.
So how much so is there really that much inflation? Or is it just the interest rates came so low it caused hyper competitive market that allowed so many more buyers into the picture?
Well, I mean, when BlackRock's going out there like and offering 200 plus, I mean that's part of the issue too.
That's legit happening, and that's happening here in our town.
Yeah.
Like
the good way to combat that would be to like, okay, well we're gonna charge, if you're not living in your house, your state taxes in the home's going to be 5 times higher.
Yep.
Okay.
You don't get a homeowner's exemption.
Yeah, you don't get any of the stuff. So if it's a rental, we're going to make it more.
If it's a rental property, you don't get your homeowner's exemption. Period.
Easy peasy.
That cuts it pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, so people will be like, oh, I'm not going to buy a rental. Never mind.
Yeah.
And then it's going to make them lose their profit margin on whatever they were doing. So call it done.
But in the same thing, then here's the problem though. You do that is that you take away that on the rental market and you increase taxes. Guess what happens to rents?
Rents go up again. Yep, I know. And I mean, that sucks for people that have lived here forever, that they're seeing $700 jumps.
I had a friend that, got his rent increase. It was $675.
And I mean, to me, honestly, that should be illegal. Yeah. You shouldn't be able to jump that much.
Justify it. Like, that's like the house across the street from me that I know was purchased for $219,000 in 2016 or 2017, 2017, 219. That house was renting for $980 a month that year.
Yep. That
house now rents for $2,900 a month, and it is the same owner.
And that's
justify it.
Freaking, you can't.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's not. I mean, it's.
And I mean, here's the
I'm
thing.
being competitive within the market. Justify it however you want, dude. Like you're not paying any. I mean, like you're making more money. Okay, so now I'm starting to sound like a hypocrite too. But
no, so it's capitalism. But the issue is that in the small market that we have, people are forced to get what they can.
Yeah,
and that's where it sucks because there's not enough market to go, hey, we're just not going to rent from you, and screw the person, right? And because capitalism works based on either it's a good thing or it's not. And if it's not a good thing, people aren't going to use it or
so now
purchase it.
We're complaining about the workforce. Well, a lot of the workforce has moved.
Yeah.
You have people that are now moving here that work remote in other states.
Make another state money.
Yeah. California employees living in Idaho.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, raise the income tax on people if you're working out of state.
And it has to, I mean, something has to break to allow the people to live and work here.
Yeah.
Really simple.
It's really hard. You can't penalize people.
There is
for
no
doing
easy
something.
answer.
Yeah, there really isn't, because you can't penalize people for just doing what's best for them.
Yeah. And you shouldn't, because you want to make the dream, but it's that.
But entitled purchasers drive me flipping crazy.
Oh, 100%.
I'm owed this price because this market's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
Then don't pay it.
I agree.
It's not for you. Sorry. Have a nice day.
So I don't like the people that break up with somebody and lose 150 pounds or whatever.
Okay.
After the breakup to show the other person what they lost. And they post the pictures, look at what he had and look at what he lost, right? And to me, I'm thinking he didn't lose anything, because you were exactly that is what he left. And now you're something totally different. He never had this, so he couldn't have lost it. And why didn't you do that while you were in the relationship if you really wanted to keep him?
Yeah.
If he was that valuable and you knew you could have bettered yourself, you could have whatever, why not do that in the relationship so that he could see what he was getting? Is that wrong? Am I wrong in that, thinking that way?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that person that posts something like that. Yes.
And I've seen men and women both do it. And they're like, oh, look at what he lost. No, he never lost it because he never had it.
Yeah.
You only lose something you had. Well, you weren't that. You chose to be 150 plus more pounds. And then after it was done, that's what motivated you to make your change.
And that's and then you did it for kind of a
bad reason,
bull crap reason.
Yeah.
Because those are the people that guess what? They're going to end up getting that all back. When they realize that losing all that weight didn't make them happy.
Well, I mean, and hopefully it does make them happy. Hopefully they go, you know what? I value myself more because now I've earned something. Now I get it.
I got all this wiener being thrown at me. Like if you're a female, or like you're, the GIF that has like all the hot dogs being thrown. Yeah. Or like if you're a guy, like you do, like if you lose a ton of weight or you start to look better, you do get more attention. Like it does happen.
Mm-hmm. All those shells are thrown at you.
I know that it's
taco
happened.
Shells.
Dude, I know. I said the wiener thrown. So yeah.
Hard or soft tacos. Depends on if you're trans. Oh crap! Can I say that? I'm so sorry if I offend. No, I'm sort of.
It's like a hot dog bun with a hot dog.
It's already in there. Dude, I saw this. Okay. Side note. I saw the most amazing thing. This dude took chicken sausages and made chicken Parmesan hot dogs.
I'm listening.
I know, right? So he garlic buttered the buns.
Okay.
And then baked them a little bit.
Instead of ketchup, he used marinara.
Put the chicken sausage dog down, wrapped the mozzarella over the top, put some parsley on it.
It's almost like a chili dog, but with spaghetti sauce.
Yeah.
Like marinara.
But a chicken Parmesan. And he actually deep fried it too. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Okay.
Dude, these things look so good. So good. I was like,
Deep fry.
yes, but that's too much effort.
It's a kiss of death there.
I feel like everything but the deep frying would be okay.
Okay, so I had like this one thing like stumbled across today.
Okay.
It was like create your ultimate cheat meal, fast food cheat meal. You got to choose 2 main entrees, 1 dessert, 1 drink, and 1 fry from any restaurant.
Oh.
Like any mixture of restaurants.
Okay.
Create your own best of. Drink,
What'd you do?
hands down, Chick-fil-A lemonade. Not even a question.
Okay. Okay.
Fries, man. I'm going to go off the board and go, do you remember Taco John's?
Yeah.
The potato olays.
Freaking, oh, dude, you know how bad I want them?
I found a Taco John's.
Where is it?
It is on Wellesley.
I'm not driving that far from
It's in
Potato
Spokane.
Olays.
It's in Spokane. It's on your. It would be on your route if you're heading to one of your locations.
Dude, so you ever go buy the 6-pack in a pound?
Yeah,
That was my joy.
I know.
I
Right?
get 2 of those,
Dude.
and I'd eat that pound to myself, and the 6-pack, and my kids would have I'd be like, "There's yours." Oh my!
They were bomb. That would be my ultimate. Like if they're fresh and hot, there is nothing. Like I'm a tot guy more than I'm a French fry guy.
I feel. Oh, so me too. Me too.
But like, there's no difference between Taco Time tots, the Mexi fries versus potato olays. Blow them out of the water.
Absolutely.
Like that would be my fry choice.
Remind me where they are when we're done, and I might have to accidentally make a marketing trip.
I found it one day, and I'm like, "There's a Taco John's here."
Need
Yes,
I love potato olays. They're so freaking good. They're so good.
their tacos
And
are
people,
good.
if you don't know, potato olays are tater tots with like seasoning salt and like other random Mexi seasonings.
Oh, so delightful.
Oh, and
The
they're perfect saltiness.
They are. They're the perfect
Perfect.
tot. It's the perfect season to tot.
I actually have to go out there tomorrow for a dinner anyway. I'm gonna get after dinner.
Why not?
I'm gonna get a pound or 2 of those mofos.
Why not?
Oh, I'm doing it,
They're
dude.
delightful.
Yes, they are. And that is the
All
best. Delightful.
So there's my potato, my drink, obviously
Okay.
Chick-fil-A lemonade. Dessert, you got to go with like the Heath Blizzard. The Heath Blizzard's so good.
I was a Nerds Blizzard kid when I was young,
too.
and they don't make it anymore.
You know what you can do though?
Hmm.
Bring your own nerds and they'll do it for you.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
done it.
it's like straight sugar now.
I know. And they hurt your teeth. Like they turn into
Dude,
like gravel.
So bad.
It is like chewing gravel.
And you've got the cold teeth and the
Because like you can get nerds at the froyo place
Mhm.
and put them in your froyo, and it's like, why do I keep doing this? I don't want to do this to myself.
Probably
We
the
talked
worst
about
idea.
Captain Crunch ruining your mouth.
Oh, dude,
But
yeah,
yeah,
that's awful. Okay, what's
so
the last one?
Heath Blizzard, and then
What's the main course?
my 2 main courses:
Okay,
Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich.
it's yummy. Yep.
That's so good.
Or
the original, the classic. One or the other.
you are
I
a
don't care.
Chick-fil-A dude.
I love Chick-fil-A. And then the Freddy's frozen custard steak burgers.
Okay, those are
The
okay.
cheeseburger.
Have you had Killer Burger yet?
Yeah, it's all right.
No, it's not all right.
It's
It's
all right.
really good.
It's
Which ones you have?
The Barnyard.
You didn't have the peanut butter one?
I had the one that had the egg on it. And
Dude, peanut butter one's bomb. The one with the freaking chilies on it's bomb. Oh my gosh, it's good.
But it's not fast food.
No,
Killer
well,
Burger's
it does
not fast
take it.
food.
You know, you're right. It is not fast food. You're right.
So this is fast food only.
Okay.
It's like fast food, like
I can't even think of what I would
all-star
want.
game. And then, yeah, but then like Freddy's, either Freddy's frozen custard, like the cheeseburger,
Yeah.
or Crunchwrap Supreme.
Oh, yum. I haven't had one of those in so long.
Taco Bell.
Because
Crunchwrap Supreme.
Taco Bell is just evil.
It's so bad, but man.
And like,
oh, man.
no, that was really good. You're right. That was really good.
That's a pretty good lineup, right?
Yeah, I'm going to I'll give some props on that one. Okay.
Or like somebody's got like a Dr. Pepper.
I still
That's
can't
good.
stop thinking about potato olays.
I know. Right? Now I want some.
Yeah, I know. It's like maybe next time we record, we have some and we just munch on them.
It's like make it
Potato olays
road trip to
ASMR.
North Spokane. It's in the hood too. It's in Hilliard.
Oh, really? It's that far?
It's
Oh my.
It's on your way to a location.
Yeah, I know. I know which one you're talking about right now.
It's like
also.
off of Freya and Wellesley.
Dude. So I'm gonna do it though. I'm totally doing it. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I have to.
No, Nevada and Wellesley. There we go. It's
Okay.
Nevada and Wellesley. Yep.
Potato olays.
And those crunchy tacos.
So good. Okay,
Yeah. So I don't know if you could create your own, but I think mine's pretty delightful.
I think we're gonna get to our point.
Go ahead.
We have We have so many things to talk about. It's so deep.
It's a deep burn.
Here's my thought for you. Parents, you are not required to entertain your children after a certain age. I wanted to add that certain age part. Dude, I'm so like, as a parent of a young one, you entertain him, yes, right?
Yeah.
And he uses imagination and all that stuff.
Yep.
When your child becomes a teen and they come to you and say, I'm bored, you have no responsibility to go, let me fix that. Let's go do stuff for you.
ASMR.
Dude, did you watch last episode? Did you watch last episode, though? It sounded so good.
Oh.
Oh, gosh. This whole thing here, I'm
My drives Abby crazy, by the way. She's like, I'm not a fan of the chewing.
Oh, yeah? I'm not even going to do...
It's just rapper and all.
Nobody expected that. That's what I do. I'm weird. I'll come at you like a spider monkey.
It's like just taking a shrimp.
That was
like
disgusting.
Shell and all. Just...
Have you had sweet shrimp head sushi?
No, I have not.
So they take the sushi back and then they deep fry the shrimp head. And it's a soft shrimp, so you can actually eat the entire head. Oh, it's so delicious. Just take off the legs because they will stab you.
Yeah, shrimp legs are nasty.
Why'd you make me eat one of those? Now I want more of them.
These?
Yeah, I can't stop it. They're so good, though. But it really is. I mean, it's not your job to make your child entertained. And one of the bigger issues is that we don't allow our kids to be bored anymore.
You know, here's the thing, too, that I noticed as far as spending time in the classroom and then coaching for 14 years.
Which qualifies you as an expert.
Teachers are looked at to be... They're supposed to start raising kids now.
Yeah.
I think to an extent, parents look at teachers that like, why is my kid jacked up? He's got you. Like when your kid screws up at school, I'm like, well, why didn't you stop him? Why aren't you teaching him that?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, I'm a teacher. I teach arithmetic.
You're supposed to control your kid.
So now people are freaking out because this is where I take, like, you can take the intersection of the CRT stuff and the most social and emotional learning and everything, and how this is, we wonder how it's ended up in schools.
Yeah.
This is how it's ended up in schools, by parents being stupid and wondering why teachers aren't raising their kids for them. Well, now the school says, well, you want to give us that need? Well, we're going to have a curriculum for it. So here you go. Here's the curriculum we came up with. As parents, you paid for it.
That's true.
So, I mean, don't complain if you haven't been raising your kids. Like, shut up.
I mean, it's totally, it just... No, you're right. And you're totally right, dude. I mean, that's really what it is.
And I'm conservative as it gets, but I look at that and I'm like, I don't blame the school system because they were given a problem and they were required to have a solution for it. The solution sucks, but they gave a solution.
Yeah, yeah. It's we have to become more active, and that means letting your child be bored.
Yeah.
I mean, remember when we were kids, dude? Yeah, when we were kids, and you were like, you got dragged over to your aunt's house or whatever, and you were like, oh, I don't want to go to aunt. Come on,
there's no box of
toys
here
to do there, right? But they're having a blast, and you're like, and your parents like, don't make me. Come on, say something, and you're like, never mind.
Fighting with your sibling or something like that, so you could actually have fun.
But you figured out how to entertain yourself. You cultivated your imagination.
Throw stuff down the laundry chute.
And like right now, it's like we've got TV, and then while we're watching TV, we're on our phone.
You have
and we're talking to other people.
Nintendo Switches. You've got Xbox, whatever. Like,
we need to teach our kids how to disengage because we're constantly trying to fill the brain with more and more and more. We have to allow them to use their mind.
Did you ever get told as a kid when you said you were bored to dig a hole?
Yeah. Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore. I'm bored. Dig a hole. Like, then what? Fill it in.
Mm-hmm. You figure it out. Yeah. You're going to figure out a way to entertain yourself. Get it done. And I mean, like, so what I think a really good idea, and we talk about challenging our kids all the time, is put your kids in a safe, uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
Bring them to your friend's house where they have to get bored, where you know they're going to have nothing to do. It's okay.
Figure it out.
Make them learn that, because when they get older, they're going to be in a better spot to go, I'm okay just being. I don't have to entertain myself. I don't have to whatever. I can sit.
Well, I don't have to be entertained. There's a difference between entertaining yourself and being entertained. I don't have to be entertained. I don't have to have somebody's attention in order for me to be.
I can do my own thing.
Yeah,
and I don't.
That just teaches kids to be self-centered. Mm-hmm. I don't need to be. I don't need to be the center of attention and know that I'm having a good time.
Yeah, that's a good way to put that. I think that was very good. Yeah, but I think, dude, how many parents do you know right now can't handle being bored? I get bored and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read a book, I guess.
This weekend was the first weekend in probably since I had COVID that I had watched more than 3 hours of TV.
I believe that.
And you know what? It was exactly what I needed.
Mm-hmm. So my son Dylan feels like he needs to do stuff all the time and more and more and more. And I looked at him today and I was like, dude, no. You need to do just enough. It's good to exceed expectations, but for you, you need to learn when this is just enough for me so I can go, it's time to relax. And praise yourself for doing a good job also. Man, people need to do that. Please learn how to praise yourself.
Do it. And I would say this is teach your kids to finish something to completion.
Mm-hmm. And then be okay with it.
Yeah. You know,
so he redid his room. Dude pulled his bed apart. It was squeaking because it's metal. So he was like, I'm going to wrap tape around it. Nice. Put it back together. Cleaned his whole room and he was done. Then he was like, I need to do more. And I'm like,
I'm going to paint my room.
What more do you need to do though? You just accomplished a lot.
I'm going to go change the oil in Dad's truck. I'm going to go.
Yeah, but there's a point where you go, you can't do more. Learn how to relax in yourself and go, I did enough. I'm good. Now I can spend my time.
There's a lot to be said in rest.
There's a lot to be said in being able to meditate, by yourself and just be like, I'm okay just being me.
Yeah.
That was my favorite thing about my car accident is that I had to go through physical therapy. And part of it was the needles, acupuncture.
Yeah.
And I had tons of needles, like lots of them in me. And it was awesome because I was forced to be with myself, to lay there and do nothing. Do you know how tough that was, dude?
Sure.
It was super rough. So, I mean, like, that taught me such a good lesson. And I told myself, I said, dude, sit on your bed and just close your eyes and be with your thoughts. That's all meditation is. It's nothing spooky or spiritual about it.
Yeah.
Be with your thoughts. Learn how to be. And I think that's a really good skill to learn. People don't do that.
No, I'm totally with you because, it was like, I always wonder at times too that, like I've read a couple books too about this, like people that run themselves ragged and then they end up sick. And they're like, well, I wonder why I'm sick. Like, and they start sulking in their sickness. Mm-hmm. Dude, you're sick because you need to rest.
Yeah.
You need to call time out. Like you're running yourself out.
And when people are resting nowadays, they're still doing many different things
the
with
their
brain's not you got to relax.
Yeah.
Just let it go. That's why they say stop and smell the flowers. Let everything else go and focus on that one piece. Just let it be.
That's why, and I agree with you, like with the kid aspect of as a parent, like I do a ton of entertaining and it gets old.
And it's tough.
Yeah. Sick days?
Nope.
When your kid's home sick?
Dude, when you have a sick day, you don't have a sick day. When I have a sick day, I have to do laundry today. I have to get done all the crap I have to. It doesn't matter how sick I am. It has to get done. That's how it is. And when your kid's sick, I mean, when they were young, that was my favorite because when my kid was sick, it was, I had to be home, do the crap, but it was snuggle time.
Yeah.
And that was here's my piece. Okay.
It was like Owen had like a cold this week. And so he was home on Monday and Tuesday from school. And, he's like super congested and feels kind of crummy, but at the same time, he's 6 years old and a boy and has like a ridiculous amount of energy.
Yeah.
And so he could be sick and still be bouncing off the wall. And I'm like, go lay down. And he just couldn't. Like, he's just.
And that's how kids are.
So I'm like trying to work and he comes in and he's like, are you done working yet? I'm like, it's like 10:30 in the morning. Like, not even close, buddy. You done yet? No. Give me one more episode of Molly and Denali, or like whenever it's on PBS Kids or whatever. Like start throwing. Like I'm like, okay, here you need to work on your Legos. You need to build me a Lego store. Like you gotta build. Like I'm trying to like give him tasks.
Dude, remember the ones back in the day that they weren't Legos? They were like the cheap version, and they had like there was a barn. You'd open the barn door, go right, and you have your little character. You'd walk them in there and stuff, and then you had like. You had that, and then you had Lincoln Logs, and you'd build them houses with Lincoln Logs. and have the other stuff.
You're talking about the Duplo box?
I think it was a Diplo box, yeah. Was it Diplo? Diplo? What is that?
Duplo.
Diplo's a DJ.
Yeah. Duplo is the blocks. Duplo.
That's cool.
But yeah,
I miss those, man.
I know what you're talking about.
They were great.
Yeah, so it was like, and then it was like, okay, we ended up outside for like 45 minutes playing baseball in the backyard.
Cool.
I was like, okay, physical activity. He started like coughing. And I'm like, all right, back to the couch, go lay down, you know. The days of like having grandpa come over and read you Princess Bride don't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's such a great movie.
It really is.
And I know it is. I mean, so I found that for movies, there is you can actually mimic that same thing. So some of the great movies out there, right? Princess Bride. Yeah. And it's because you have a narrator and an outside point and then the book, right? Think about the next one, Secondhand Lions. That's
a great movie.
It's the same way. Epic, right? Yeah. Another great one. And I hate saying this one, but what's the Housewives TV show?
Desperate Housewives?
There's something like that, but it's narrated also. And that's why so many people really enjoy it. Because you get narrated, plus you get story and the action.
Okay.
I think that's more of that. So in Deadpool 2, he narrates it too, and you're like, it's great. I think people miss that mark. They go, look, we really like that. Those movies
yeah. Because I look like in the TV shows like Wonder Years.
Narrated.
Yeah. Everybody Hates Chris.
Narrated.
It's actually an underrated show, but
yeah, but
I think it's pretty funny.
Think about it. All of the shows that do that have won.
Malcolm
all of
in the
them.
Middle.
Was it? Yeah, it was sort of narrated, wasn't it?
At times.
Yeah. Dude, freaking the one about the 80s that I love so much. That Goldbergs, right? Narrated.
Mm-hmm.
The New Wonder Years, which is the African American family, which is actually, it's really good also. Really, I actually really enjoy it. That formula works.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're just solid.
Yeah, I'm following you.
And I think it's because, and I really, from being a writer, my point, being a writer also, I think it's because when you have to narrate something, it's explained more. So when you write a script, it goes, here's a narrator saying whatever. Now I have to fit that full circle so you get full story.
It puts you in the story to feel the feelings of the person going through the story.
Yep.
I follow you.
Dude, it just...
As you wish.
It's a win. It's a win.
I love Princess Bride. Like The Sandlot.
Narrated. Another great one.
Oh, the narration of that movie is underrated.
Do you see what I'm saying though? Like these are all good.
It's like he kissed a woman. He kissed her long and good. Like
man,
I love that movie.
What is Stand By Me?
Yes. But going back to The Sandlot.
Yep.
Did you see the picture I posted on our Facebook page of Ham?
Absolutely.
Coaching T-ball with his own kid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was awesome.
And I wanted to comment. I didn't.
He looks the same.
He looks identical. Like I feel like something happened in his growth where he just got stuck in ugly.
We already know about Wendy Peppercorn.
He is not a super attractive guy.
Wendy Peppercorn looks still the same.
Yeah, I mean, we had looked it up when we were in the show.
Looks
yeah.
great, yes.
Yeah. We don't want to go down that path again.
Squints. So many of those guys, like, yeah, like the Benny the Jet ended up in jail.
Did we just yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I know. I mean, still, yeah.
Yes.
So we're almost done anyway, but I want to do a call to action. Okay. And this hits really close to home because I'm seeing too many parents not stand up for the children to avoid conflict. Husbands and wives, you're in a partnership. You're both equally responsible for protecting these kids and taking care of them as you would each other. If one parent is out there being insane, you have to stand up and protect them or protect your children from that insane parent. That's our job.
Sure.
Together or not.
Yeah.
Especially in a divorce situation, right? You have to be that person. It might cause some conflict, but you have to stand up and go, look.
It might cause conflict.
Okay, probably will. You're right. But you have to. These are living, breathing dreams.
Yeah.
And if you're letting your spouse put them down, walk all over them, put crazy ideas in their head of all these expectations and giving them no possibility to have a good outcome, are you trying to set your child up for failure? Like how often do you think?
Pose it this way.
Sorry. Yeah.
Your kid is playing a sport.
Okay.
And his coach comes up and lights him up.
Yep.
Like reading him the riot act, putting him down, calling him a loser. Blah. Are you going to go and put that coach in his place?
Yep.
Why wouldn't you do it to the other parent?
Doesn't make any sense, does it? And then imagine being a child that wants to be great because kids look up to us.
And there's a difference if it's your spouse. You have to respect your spouse, right?
Yeah.
If your spouse isn't respecting your kids, there's a bigger issue.
That's where I'm going, though.
Yeah.
So, but imagine being that child and being yelled at and being told you're not good at this or you're not going to succeed or you're not whatever. How does that make your future look?
You're only going to talk to one parent.
But how's your future look? That's going to affect you no matter what.
Yeah.
Like 100%, man. I mean, that hurts.
You know, and as the other parent, I can tell you this is like, if you see your kid being put down by the other parent and it's causing the rift in the marriage, obviously, that doesn't mean you get to open the door for emotional incest.
No. Yeah. Well, yeah. No, that should not happen. Good Lord, dude.
So, like, you're going to defend your kid.
Yeah.
But you also have to extend, like, you know, you got to be able to talk to your spouse in a manner that's like, hey, that's not how we're doing things here.
Well, it's a partnership.
You know? And if this is how we're going to do things, like, we need to call powwow. Like,
yeah,
big time.
And it has to happen. And I think the worst part is that, you know, men, we're taught happy wife, happy life, right? And so we don't want to upset her and we don't want to step in.
Happy spouse, happy house. You both have to be.
But we don't want to step in because we're worried that if possible, if there's a divorce, that we're going to lose our children.
Yep.
There's
the automatic stigma there. Yeah.
That's a massive concern for us. And
the mom could be the one doing the wrong, right?
And
dad's
father,
the one still worried about losing his kid.
Yeah. And
that situation is going to now follow their kids.
That sucks. I mean, because what do? You have to stay there as the father to protect the children at that point, even though you can't control the mom now. Because if you walk away, you lose them. And then you're screwed. There's no positive
silver
outcome.
Bullet defense. There's a bunch of different ways that scenario turns out. None of them are really that great.
No.
Which sucks.
Yeah, like a lot.
Yeah.
Men, we are men in tights. We're manly men.
Another great movie.
And yet men in tights.
I'm wearing jeans today, not tights, but
some jeans nowadays look like tights, though, for sure.
This is true. This is true. I'll give you that.
We had more, but I think we'll save it.
I think it's going to be a better episode if we save it.
Yeah, let's absolutely save it because we don't want to compress it all. We want to make sure that there's time to unpack it.
Don't want you drinking from a fire hose.
I mean, there's disappointment in my story that people don't know about. That
it opens some pathways and some doors that can take you down dark roads.
Yeah,
it really could.
Absolutely, yeah. But hey, so
but we won't go there today.
No, not at all. We're gonna try and end on a positive note. That's why we're men in tights. Ryan, do you have anything special you want to tell somebody out there on Love Notes tonight? Anything that you want to get out there? Do you remember when we used to call into radio stations and dedicate songs?
Or like Casey Kasem on Sundays would play like the top 40.
Gosh, he was cool. And he really was. He was a cool cat.
We got John from Connecticut here.
That's pretty good.
And John writes, "Dear Casey."
Mm-hmm. That was really
good. Not bad, right?
That's not bad. That was good.
But yeah, I met Michelle in a Kmart parking lot.
She was passing gas. I said, "Good job."
I met this is from Jennifer. She's writing about Trevor, and she writes, "Dear Casey, I met Trevor in the Planet Fitness. He crop dusted me so bad."
The lunk alarm went off. That's probably what happened too. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I miss the days of having to call in to dedicate a song or request a song and then wait for freaking hours.
With a boombox next to it so you can like record. Yeah.
Yep. And you're just hoping the girl's listening because you don't know.
Hey, did you listen to the radio yesterday?
No.
Did you listen to at like 9:42 p.m.?
They were watching 90210, and you're like, damn it.
Missed my opportunity.
Good thing I recorded it. Play record.
Your local DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom.
That's what my mom was. So
Tristan's like trying to call his mom with like fake voices, like dedicating songs.
So my mom, she was the country station DJ.
Okay.
And I was not a country. No, dude.
I could see that.
She has such a good radio voice. It's ridiculous.
I could definitely see that.
And people loved it. And they were like, oh, I heard your mom. And I'm like, I've never heard my mom on the radio. And I never have.
Because I did radio too.
I know, but I never have because I never listened to country when I was younger.
I did a radio and for a country station and then for a 70s, 80s, and 90s greatest hits.
Wow.
I didn't have like the annoying, hey everybody, how are you today? Like
no, that's crazy. That's like morning talk show though. Yeah. You got to wake them up.
Zows.
If I ever did it, I always thought I would doing like love notes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Love notes with Tristan.
Nice and soft.
Yeah.
Here's Casey and JoJo by request.
But it wouldn't be nice and soft. I'd do it nice and hard.
Here's Keith Levert in Push.
Awesome. I need to take a break now, so here's some R. Kelly while I go R. Kelly. Too much? No?
Barry White.
Oh, dude, I would totally Barry White. I did some Maxwell. And here's This Woman's Work by Maxwell. Ladies drop them panties.
Dude, we and it would make a playlist. Ultimate, like, come in with our ultimate playlist.
Oh, dude.
Here's All My Life.
Mixtapes back in the day. I loved All My Life by Casey and JoJo. What are you talking about? That song was super popular, and I was running a Pizza Hut at the time.
Yeah.
And every night on the jukebox, I would play Casey and JoJo's All My Life While I Clean, and I'd sing along and just falsetto the hell out of that bad boy.
Baby, 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 baby,
baby. It was so good. Just the opening. Dude, I was actually driving the other day, and I was like, oh, came on, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing it. I can't help it. I'm doing it. Gosh, so good.
Yes.
Cameo's Word Up. Ow. Gosh, I love Cameo's Word. We're digressing, aren't we?
That's all right, though.
I guess we're going to end this episode.
Good listening, though.
We had so much fun.
It was like you'd end up with like Jimmy Eat World was like what was on when I was in high school working.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Dude, I had remember the All for One controversy?
Yes.
All for One, and who was the country singer? And they were like, no, we didn't steal it from each other.
Oh, it was John Michael Montgomery?
I think so, yeah. God, I can't believe you remember that.
That's country station.
But it was so funny because I'm like, I had friends that were country and I had friends that were like,
coming up next, Chattahoochee by Alan Jackson.
Chattahoochee Coochie was one of my favorites. Way down yonder on the
Chattahoochee.
Oh, it's so good.
It's hotter than a hoochie coochie.
Dude, it's so good.
We laid rubber on a Georgia asphalt.
Dude, you did a lot of country, didn't you?
I did a lot of country. Yeah,
Who was okay? So one of my first country songs that really moved me to enjoy country. Ready?
Yeah.
Alabama.
That's solid. You just sold me right there.
I know, right?
Which one?
Alabama, and it wasn't Cheap Seats, although I love Cheap Seats. It's a freaking great song.
Redneck Woman?
No, it was I'm in a Hurry.
Oh, that's a great song. I'm in a hurry.
Because it was like rock and roll, but country, and I was like, I love this. So I played it, and then I was like, ooh, what else do they have, you know?
See, for me, it was like, yeah, I mean, Alabama was right there, and then you had like, we were talking like 1990, 92.
And that's when Garth was coming out. Brooks and Dunn was phenomenal back in the day. John Michael Montgomery hit it up too. Like Alan Jackson was doing his thing. Yeah. You had Big and Rich.
That was in like late 90s.
And they were like, these were like if you made rock and roll superstars, country singers, and they just gave them all sorts of crazy, they did it.
Dude,
Big and Rich.
Big and Rich was, yeah. Especially when they came out with Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy.
Oh, dude.
That was a jam. That really was.
Dude, didn't Big and Rich come out with the booty song or whatever it was for country girls?
Honky Tonk Badonka?
Honky Tonk. That was
the same guy that did Swing Better. Tracy.
I can see his face.
Trace Adkins.
Yep, there you go. Thank you.
There we go.
Well, we're not the Dadvocacy podcast
deep
anymore.
Syrupy voice, Trace Adkins. Dude's like 6'8".
Mm-hmm.
He's huge.
Big dude.
I've met him. He's a monster.
Big dude.
He looks like Big Show from WWE.
Yeah.
Just like two giant men. Yeah. But yeah.
Wasn't there Robin Big on MTV for a while? The skateboarder guy, and then his big black.
Yeah, Rob Dyrdek.
Big
Black. Yeah.
Big Black. He was a big dude.
I love that show. Oh, man, it was a great show.
And
Fantasy Factory.
Now he's doing like weird
ridiculousness.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's not really ridiculousness.
Chanel North or West
Tosh
Coast.
Point has so much more.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the original Bob Saget America's Funniest Home Videos.
Dude.
And the mic drop.
Okay. That was good.
I
That's
liked
all right.
Bob Saget.
I mean,
Was
the great
America's
thing was
dad.
that back in the day,
We totally took
that
our
show was perfect. We
took our
sidetracked.
show from
Gosh,
one
what's
way,
wrong with us?
went to a point, and then we worked our way backward.
We are having some problems here, technical
I
difficulties.
think we're like glitching out
I'm
right
start
now.
pressing all the buttons. Oh.
Greatest hits. Let's go.
I think we're good though for Dadvocacy.
For the Dadvocacy podcast, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Smooth Jazz Tristan.
Thank you for joining us.
Season 2.
Episode 16. Coming up next, Alan Jackson, Chattahoochee.
Oh, that coochie.